Now, it's that time of year again. Yes, that's right. It's the political conference season. We look forward to it the rest of the year. And the sun has come out as well for the annual Trade Union Congress, which is underway in Brighton today. TUC General Secretary Frances O'Grady has been addressing delegates at the conference this morning, calling on the new Prime Minister Theresa May to ensure rights for workers are protected in the forthcoming Brexit negotiations. And we can talk to Frances O'Grady now from the conference. Hello, Frances.
Hello.
You talked about Sports Direct and zero-hour contracts in your speech this morning. You also pledged that trade unions will shine a light on greedy businesses that treat its workers like animals. Were you thinking of any in particular?
I certainly was, because I think the important thing to know is that Sports Direct isn't the only one. We've seen a pretty good victory for Unite, the union organising there, and the combined union power in that shareholders meeting. But it's not just about Sports Direct. We know that 0 hours has spread all over the country, risen by a fifth, nearly 1 million workers on those contracts now. But also it goes beyond 0 hours contracts. We've got too many employers using sham self-employment, as we've seen at Uber, for example, and Hermes, where it's just a way to get around giving workers the rights like rest breaks and sick pay that they deserve. So I've given notice to those companies who do treat their workers badly that we're not going to stop at Sports Direct.
All right.
We will be going through exploitation like a dose of salt,
okay.
and hoping that government and good employers join us.
Right. The new Prime Minister has proposed putting workers on boards. Do you see Theresa May as an ally in your campaign for better rights for workers?
I was very clear today that if Theresa May wants to have genuine elections so that we see workers on boards, then we'll support that, because that's something that the TUC and unions have long campaigned for and that the public want. We want to see a bit of common sense and reality in the boardroom and maybe tackle some of that top pay problem too.
OK, well, what about the comments by Liam Fox, the International Trade Secretary, who was reported to say that too many British businesses are fat and lazy? Do you agree with him?
I guess I think he's not a great sales rep for Britain if he's going around the world saying that at a time when he's supposed to be exploring good trade deals, because I think we need to be serious about this.
But is he right?
Now that the election, the referendum campaign is over, I think everybody needs to come down off the soapboxes, roll up our sleeves and try and get the best deal for Britain and the best deal for British workers.
Right.
Because let's be clear, working people still haven't recovered from the financial crash. Brexit introduces uncertainty. We want the government to make sure that unions are at the table alongside business to get workers in Britain the best deal we can.
All right, well, let's talk about Brexit and a deal that's going to be done by the government for leaving the EU. You believe it would be best for the British economy if we remain members of the single market. And do you think the benefits of single market membership are worth it if it also means that the country has to sacrifice other things that you're campaigning for, like state aid for industries, like the steel industry, or rail nationalisation?
Well, I think we're all keen on bringing the railways back into public control.
But you wouldn't be able to, as a member of the single market, because... Hang on a second, because you wouldn't be able to, because that would be in breach of EU competition laws. If we were members of the single market, we would then be put aside.
I'm afraid that EU competition laws were often used as a very convenient excuse by Westminster governments to do things they didn't want to do anyway. And we've often heard Brussels blamed, for example, about Chinese steel, whereas in fact, of course, it was the UK government that was blocking the tariffs that we wanted to see to stop the dumping of cheap Chinese steel.
But what about state aid? If you weren't allowed to give state money, if you weren't allowed to give state money to prop up industries like steel, which you wouldn't be able to, I'm afraid, under the EU laws as they stand now, you would be prevented from doing some of the things that you want.
I think you only have to look at Germany, France and Italy to see that state money does go to support industries when governments have the will to do it, and we were looking for the same determination from Westminster too. But I think the serious point here is that we know a lot of good jobs, people's rights depend on that good relationship with the EU. A lot of our exports go to the EU in manufacturing. Now we need to get, all of us, get a bit sensible about how do we get a fair deal. And in my experience as a negotiator, that requires a bit of give and take from both sides.
All right, Frances O'Grady, thank you very much.